Okay.
Hey everyone, this is your favorite radio host, your only radio host, your favorite girl, Corinne Lafont, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago. It's a lovely day today, a little overcast, but beautiful nonetheless. You know, I always start my show off being thankful. I'm thankful for being here, thankful for breathing, having all my faculties intact, even though I'm not churning on 100%. But, but I'm good. I still know my name, right? That's important. Uh, and so I have with me Tom Selleck. Oh, sorry, it's not Tom Selleck. He looks like Tom Selleck. Yeah. I have with me Rocky. We call him Rocky Romanella. Sounds Italian, is it? We need to find out.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
I should add.
Yes.
I should add a touch of Italian, Romanella. Yeah, to that. I should. Does that sound Italian enough? I don't know. Does it?
I gotta tell you, the way it rolls off your tongue, it sounds beautiful. Certainly better than I say it. That's for sure. So that's fantastic. Or much better than when the nuns were unhappy with me in grammar school. The way they yell.
Oh,
Well, actually, they never called me Rocky Romanelli. They called me my full name. My real name is Rocco. My nickname is
oh.
Rocky. And so whenever I would get in trouble, I knew I was in trouble when I would hear Sister Beata say Rocco.
Oh my
Oh,
God. Well, I'm
okay,
not going to call. You're not in trouble today. So it's Rocky.
okay. Well, it's a
It's
pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you very
it's
much for
it's
the
great to
opportunity.
have you. And we're talking about tightening the lug nuts, whatever that means, because people will want to know what that means. But before we jump into it, let me give a quick bio and then we could go into the discussion. So Rocky, he's witty, as you can tell. He says he's a witty blue collar guy. I don't know why he would say that. Who rose through the ranks at UPS. Everybody's supposed to know UPS. He then became a CEO and board member of a small telecom company after UPS. Today, he's now a small business owner. He recently published his book, Tighten the Lug Nuts, which this episode is about. And it's all about how we make choices and how those choices determine the kind of leader we can be. Interesting. So, welcome again, Rocky, to Between the Lines. Let's jump straight into tightening the lug nuts and choices and determining the kind of leader we will be. Are we leaders at all?
Well, I think that we're all leaders at one time or another, and I think that sometimes we get hung up on the title more than the substance of the person who is the leader. And so for me, leadership's about legacy. Do you leave things a little better than you found them? Are people better because of their time with you? And so there, when you think about it from that perspective, in one way, shape, or form, we're all leaders as parents, as coaches, as leaders potentially in business or in other things that we do. And in fact, I always point to some of the greatest leaders I think are teachers. And if you think about that concept of leadership or legacy, if I asked a group of people, and who is their state senator, who's their representative, or who is the person that's running their local town or municipality, they may not know that. But
Mm-hmm.
if I said to the group, who's that teacher that made a difference in your life? Everybody stops and thinks about, oh, I know, Mrs. So and so in fourth grade, or Mr. So and so in seventh grade. Or everyone has that teacher who's made a difference in their life. And so by that extension, I think that's really leadership, because you make a difference, you make things better. Things are better because of people are better because of their time with you. And so I think leadership is more than just a name or a title or something that's given to you because of a position. I think it's about who you are and what you stand for.
So then there are so many leaders out here, and I love when you said somebody is better off because of their interaction with you, no matter how small that moment in time may be, or a longer duration of time. I mean, that's a great way of defining a leader, because most people don't think of themselves as leaders. They see leaders as people like Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa or Gandhi, these type of people that really had a worldwide impact, go down in the books of history, or somebody who is probably in their office and they see them as doing major things. It really comes down to doing major things, having great impact, whether it is within the workplace, within a community, within your country, or worldwide. But they're not seeing it as, an everyday person. You talk about a teacher, who is also impacting lives. Somebody may say, but hey, that still fits the definition, because this teacher is influencing hundreds and thousands of lives going out there. But if I wanted to break that down even more, I mean, it can be the person that smiled with you that morning, that says, "Hey, I notice you, I see you," that change whatever that you were going through that particular time. Would you consider that person a leader as well?
Yes, I think if you're making a difference in someone's life
Mhm.
by a simple act of kindness
Mhm.
or the way you interact with people or those kinds of things, I think by that extension, we're all leaders. And I think that, some of us may be leaders in a more traditional sense, but we're all leaders because we impact other people's lives.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. So, in going forward, don't worry about the phone, that's fine. In going forward,
Okay, yeah.
no, don't worry about the phone. These things happen. These things happen. In going forward, persons listening to this episode, whether no matter what age they may be, because there are people who are leaders and they're under 10. They're in their
Yes,
teenage years. Yeah, and they feel,
yeah,
who am I? I'm just a child. Somebody may say, but that's just a child. What do they know? They don't know anything. They're put down, but they're actually impacting somebody else's life in some way or form. So persons listening to this will have an idea of who they are. I think
right.
we need to understand who we are and our purpose. A lot of people are trying to find out what their purpose is. Some people never find out. Some people don't even go on that journey, Rocky, of trying
Yes,
to
that's
find
true.
out. Yeah, they
That's
don't
true.
even go on that. They don't even know it is a journey. They're just here. They grow up in a particular environment and they feel this is where I'm destined to be. My father was at this, my mother was at that, and this is what I'm going to end up being. And that is so not true. You can be whoever you want to be, and you can determine that. Your past does not determine your future. Your past does not determine your destiny. Your present circumstances does not determine your destiny. And so we want persons to understand that you can be a Nelson Mandela. You can be a Mother Teresa. You can be, in the 21st century or whatever century we're in. I lost count. But, you can be that. You can be that. So tighten the lug nuts. I'm like, I'm trying to visualize tighten the lug nuts. It seems so um hurtful. I don't know. Why are you tightening the lug nuts? Why are you squeezing in there? Why are you twisting? What's the relationship between tightening the lug nuts and you're talking about leadership and the impact that somebody may have in your presence?
Well, first, thanks for asking. And as you noted, the book's title is "Tighten the Lug Nuts." But I think the point that you made prior to the question on "Tighten the Lug Nuts" is so important. I think each of us is the architect of our own destinies,
Mm,
and we can make a difference. And you can be a Nelson Mandela in your life, maybe not as, in terms of popularity or notoriety, but in the things that he did that were those simple acts of kindness and the way he interacted with Mother Teresa, the way she showed kindness and compassion in everything she did. Well, the emulation of Mother Teresa is you as an individual having kindness and compassion in other people's lives. And so that's how we emulate those leaders like that we aspire to be, but in our own world. And so because we're not Mother Teresa and being sainted, we're sainted in our own way, in the way we deal with other people. So I agree with you 100%. We're the architects of our own destiny, and we should never allow anyone else to affect us more
mm-hmm.
than we can affect ourselves. And so I think that's so important. As for
What?
the title, as
Mhm.
for the title of the book, there's many stories in my book, and one of the stories in the book is about this tightening the lug nuts. And just quickly at a high level, I was a there was a problem we had in one of our facilities. I was approaching the supervisor and manager to talk to them about getting their help in fixing this one issue. And as I was approaching him, I noticed that one of the vehicles had some loose lug nuts. It happens all the time. Vehicles drive on roads and, vibrations will do that. And so as I was approaching him, I noticed they were loose. And so as I approached him, I said, look, I've got this really important job for you. And it's a job that I think that you can handle and you can make a difference. And so I really need your help with this. But before we start on that job, hey, that vehicle over there has some loose lug nuts. And he was like, yeah, I got it. I got it. But tell me what you want me to. He was so excited about, doing this job and pleasing me as the senior
Yeah.
manager. So a few days later, I was approaching him and saying, "Hey, how are we doing on that project?" And he was all disheveled and he was all like, kind of overwhelmed. I said, "What happened?" He said,
Mhm.
"Well, we just got a road call in the vehicle. The driver can't drive the vehicle because he thinks the front tire's loose." And I said, "Well, wait a second. Isn't that the vehicle I told you had loose lug nuts?" And he said,
Mhm.
"Yeah." I said, "Well, why don't you just tighten the lug nuts?"
Mhm.
And he looked at me and he said, "Well, you told me this other thing was so important." I said, "Yeah, but that was, the lug nuts were important. When you
Mhm.
allow important things to become urgent, you get overwhelmed. You can only handle so many urgent things. So as a leader, as a
Mhm.
person, as you allow these important things that you can take care of right then, I mean, tightening the lug nuts at that moment was probably took him 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
But now, because he didn't tighten the lug nuts and now he's overwhelmed, it became urgent. Now he has to put everything else aside. And I
Mhm.
think that's what happens in life and in leadership is people just don't take care of the things they can take care of when they can. Now
Yeah.
they become big problems and now they get overwhelmed. And so that is one of the chapters in the book, and it became the title of the book, but it's about your ability as a leader to understand what's important and what's urgent and take care of the important things before they become urgent.
Wow. Yeah. That's a life lesson. And it's not that we don't know this. Why it is that we tend to put things off? Why it is that we see it? Is it because it's so minuscule? It is so casual. I mean, I could easily deal with that. And you think you're coming back, and then other things get in the way and distract you. And then an hour passed, 5 hours, a day, 2 days, before you know it, it's weeks, months, and you're like, oh my God, I was supposed to deal with that. What it is in our psyche that doesn't allow us to act on things as we see it
Well, I
before
think
before it festers and become a big sore.
no, I think that's a great question, and I think it comes down to I think two things. One is we view the act that needs to get taken care of simple enough that we can get to it, right? So like tightening those lug nuts, I'm sure it was like, yeah, I can get to that, not a problem. What happens though in the course of your day and routine, whether it's in your personal life or in your professional life, other things come up, and now all of a sudden you get distracted and before you know it, it's a week later and the lug nuts are loose and now the wheel's about to fall off. Well, it's the same. That email you get sent by someone in your family or someone at work that you need to follow up on. It's like, yeah, I got this. This is something that I can take care of, but you don't take care of it right then and there. Now a week goes by and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, you were supposed to take care of this. Stop everything. Now you've got to stop everything. And now it sends everything into a tailspin. So to me, I always believe you take care of the things you can take care of them when you can take care of, and then you just then you put them aside and they're done. And
Yeah,
so it just really, it's a discipline that you have to teach yourself
that is
that
it.
if you're not, yeah, if you're not careful, you'll get overwhelmed. And then when people get overwhelmed, they start blaming everybody else. Oh, I can't believe it. I've got no luck. Nothing ever goes my way. The person I'm working for keeps sending me more things to do. Well, you're only overwhelmed because you didn't take care of the things you could have took care of when you could have taken care of
Yeah. Is it that sometimes we wait till something happens before we take action? Is it that we're the type of persons that we love the adrenaline rush of having to
them.
deal with something when it's like, oh my God, I don't have much time. And so there's this surge of adrenaline that comes into your body, and you're like, I have to deal with it now. That last minute thing, like when you're going to school, coming back to the teacher example, you have homework. You could do it, get it out of the way, make it easy. But no, your friends call you, you gotta play. There's a movie on,
Right.
your family's going out. There are better things to do with your time, obviously, than doing homework. You have time, of course. And before you know it, the time is up and you're like, crap, I have, I have to hand this damn thing in the morning. And then you stay up all night, right? Calling up your friends, trying to get some information, research. The lights go. The internet is not working in this day and age. Wi-Fi goes, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, crap, but you have to do it, so you stay up and you stress yourself. Is
No,
it
you're absolutely
love?
right.
But we do it. We do it. We get it done. We get it done, Rocky, and we submit it, even if we're running down the corridor and slip it under the door or throw it on her desk, whatever. But we get it done. And then when we realize, hey, we got it done, we feel, we don't have to wait. we don't have to do anything in advance anymore. We could wait until the pressure is on us, and then we perform better because we are able to be more specific in our responses. We are able to keep things to the point as opposed to writing this whole 5 page. You might have written a 2 page that is very succinct and targets the question. Why it is that we love the adrenaline rush? What is it?
Well, I think that that may be true when you're working on singular things, but when you think about the fact that as a leader and as as you grow and develop as a person, you're juggling many balls, and so you can only juggle so many balls, and you can only juggle, frankly, one, two, or three, maybe at the most, urgent things. And so I think that's part of the issue. When you're in school, to your point, your example, well, you're really focused on your education. You're focused on your grades potentially. You're focused on graduating. It's very singular. But when you're sitting there and now you're a leader or you're a parent or you're running a PTA meeting and or the something some in a civic organization, you have a personal life you're juggling, you have a professional life you're juggling. Now you may be juggling this opportunity to help out uh, in other places. Now it gets overwhelming, and I think that's part of the issue is that you get yourself overwhelmed,
Mm,
and then sadly you do less than your best work, and
yeah,
that's probably the biggest tragedy is that people don't really get to see the depth and breadth of your skill set, the depth and breadth of your thoughtful way you answer a question or the thoughtful way that you fulfill what you've been asked to do. And it's sad because you never get that back again. You never get that opportunity. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression.
yeah, 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 yeah. That is something. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. But that doesn't mean to say that some that first impression thing is something that I wonder about, because you stick with that first impression going right through, and it's like you can't come out from underneath that. And no matter what you do, it's like you're still seen as that person when I first met you. Why, if somebody's trying to change, if somebody's trying to prove themselves to you, if somebody has a potential for something, why if their first impression wasn't impressive to you, why put them under that sort of rigor, or not give them a second or even a third chance? We are humans, of course.
Well, I think that's very true. I mean, I think everyone should be given we're a forgiving world, and and so I think that that's important. And look, who are we to judge the point
Exactly.
where we can't forgive? I think part of the problem comes in when you, as the individual who hasn't made a first impression the way you would like to, in retrospect, you look back and you think, well, I could have done a little better on that first impression, or maybe I didn't connect the way I could have or should have or wanted to. Well, I
Hmm.
think part of it is that acknowledgement. When I say to you, I'm working for you, Corinne, and I say to you, Corinne, I've been thinking about our first meeting, and I'm sorry it didn't go the way it could have or should have. And so, I'm working hard for you to see the true Rocky Romanell, or see the true person that I can be and want to be. And so I think that acknowledgement that then allows you to find a way to begin that healing process, right? So we both acknowledge that, hey, that wasn't really a great first impression. And so therefore it makes it easier for you then to look at me differently, as well as for me to try to get you to see that, maybe that wasn't my best day. We all have bad days, right? So maybe that wasn't my best day. Maybe I wasn't on my best game. But
Hmm.
me acknowledging that makes it easier for you then to acknowledge that, hey, I'm open to seeing your best game and looking forward to seeing your best game. So I think that you
Mm.
know, that, I think by taking ownership of it did
Yeah.
not go. Now, if I thought that was my best day and you're sitting there thinking, boy, that was not a great first impression, that's a huge disconnect. And that disconnect can never get closed if
Hmm.
we both have, different expectations of what took place that day or different
Hmm.
acknowledgments of what took place that day. So I think that you owning that maybe that wasn't my best day or wasn't my best first impression then really allows you in the example I just gave to
Hmm.
kind of give me that second chance because I've acknowledged it to you.
Yeah. And acknowledging takes let's call it a big person to be able to come forward and say, hey, I could have done better. I was wrong. Admitting, is I think it's a great first step to growth. And we're talking about growth and leadership and development. I think it's a great first step. I want to come back to your progression starting off with UPS, growing within the system, moving up the ranks? What are three lessons that you have learned in terms of tightening the lug nuts, dealing with the things that should have been dealt with that when you look back, you say, you should have done that. You shoulda, coulda, woulda. What in your progression, what are three lessons that you have learned coming up the ranks?
Well, the first one is that, my dad, rest his soul, said to me that, learn your job and learn some more. And that's always been a very important lesson for me growing up and working my way through the organization. It was a push from within. And so for me, that whole concept of, never feeling like I made it, feeling like there was always something else for me to learn, and, kind of trying to be the best person and best leader I could be. That was one. The second is this concept of not stopping at the first right answer. I think too often we stop at that first right answer. Now, I clearly understand that it's the first right answer, so it's a right answer. But everybody wants to stop there. And so I always felt like if you can challenge yourself past that first right answer, well, then there may be a better answer behind it. Maybe one that includes more people. Maybe it's one that's a little deeper and wider. Maybe it's one that differentiates you from your competitors. And so I think that ability to not stop at that first right answer can really help you as a leader and kind of help grow your business and help you kind of have breakthrough type of thinking. And I think the third one is it's not about you, it's about your people. I think too often leaders make it about them. How many times have you worked for a leader or you heard someone that you worked for say, oh, you don't know how difficult this is. You don't know how tough I got it. I'm under so much pressure. And you're looking at them like, okay, but you wanted this job. You worked hard to get to this next level. And so I think when you make it about yourself, you start to turn people off and you start to lose them. I think it's not about you, it's about your people. It's about us working together. It's about the things that we can accomplish together. It's not about Rocky Romanella. It's about the things we do together as we try to move forward in our kind of shared vision of our organization or shared vision of what we're trying to accomplish. And so I think that was also a very important lesson. It's not about you, it's about your people. So I think that if you can work hard to learn your job and learn some more and always try to find new breakthrough ideas and work as hard as you can to learn the job as the job's changing and be that kind of early adopter, I think that's important. As I said, I think it's very important for you to not stop at the first right answer, to kind of push through and be that kind of innovative person and have some fun with it, challenge yourself to not stop at that first right answer. I think that's so important. And finally, it's not about you, it's about your people. So don't make it about you, make it about us and make it about how we can do things together.
Nice. Love that. Tell me your website again. Let me see if I can just pull that up on this website here.
Yeah, we're www, it's the number 3, and then the word 60, managementservices.com. So it's a little bit longer than I probably in retrospect should have done it, but it's the number 3 and then the word 60, SIXTY, managementservices.com.
Come again,
And so it's a very,
start again.
yeah, it's the number 3, then the word 60, SIXTY,
Yeah.
management, services.com. And so if I had to do that one over again, I probably would have figured out a way to either shorten it or make it a little bit different. But the word, the title got it.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on, let me see if I can share that so that people can. Here we go.
And the thought process came from the fact that we look at things from a holistic perspective, that we look at things from our ability to look at the complete solution. It's this concept of balanced leadership. There's 3 key constituents as you're making decisions, your customers, your people, and your stakeholders. And you want to make sure that when you make decisions, you make them in that holistic 360-degree view of making sure that all 3 constituents are represented.
Yeah, you look at all angles. You try not to leave anything out. Yeah. I see you have a schedule of free assessment here, so persons can. What happens with that? Tell us a bit about this free assessment. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, so for example, I just did one up in Toronto, Canada, where generally what happens is a person pays our travel there, and in our time there is we we don't charge them for our time. And that kind of shows that commitment to each other, that I'm willing to take my time to come up and spend a couple of days with you to look at your business and get a sense of potentially what you need and what are some of the things you can improve from a process perspective, from an opportunity to, grow your business. It's the same from the training side. Our leadership development, leadership training is, I believe, world class. And so a lot of times a company will call us in and say, hey, I really like for you to maybe spend a day with us and look at our leadership development, leadership training, whether it's at a frontline supervisor perspective or at a senior leadership perspective. And so, our commitment is we'll come in and that time is on our dime. We won't charge you for our time. You pay our travel. So that's your commitment for us coming. And so it's that shared commitment we have. And for us, we say it's free assessment because we're in there and we're doing the assessment and we're not charging you anything for the assessment. So I think it's a good way for the partnership to happen. And we're leaving behind with you some valuable information that, you can act upon both with us or sometimes on your own if you think it's the relevant way to go. But I think that most times what happens is that the people you're working with say, wow, I like your style, I like your approach as an organization, love for you to come in and work with our people from a leadership perspective or from a consulting perspective. How do you help us improve our business? So it's a fun way to do that. And of course, there's a little bit about the book. You can see on the speaking engagement.
Is that you? Is that you in that little vehicle?
It's funny. I get asked that question all the time. And it actually, if you saw my two sons, Rocky and Andrew, it looks like both of them more than it does look like me, but it's neither one. It's just a good stock photo. And people always say to me, why don't you pick Rocky or why don't you pick Andrew? I said, well, if I picked Rocky, who would tell Andrew? If I picked Andrew, who would tell Rocky? So I chose to not get myself in the middle of that. But yes,
that's right.
It's sort of it was really a cool photo. It's a self-published book, and so the publisher I use she did a great job in helping me design the cover and bring the book to life. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's a bit big for that little vehicle there.
Yeah.
He seems to be getting somewhere. It might take him a while, but he's getting somewhere. So you can get the book on your website, or is it
Amazon? Yeah,
okay.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, on the internet. So.
Okay, wonderful. And I see you run a podcast as well.
Yes, I do quite a few.
Give me competition. But
I don't personally do a podcast. Those are the podcasts I've done. I've done probably over 70 podcasts. And by the way, yours is excellent. So
thank you.
As it comes out, I will put it up on my website. Crucial Talks is one I just did a few weeks ago. In fact, I just had another one that just went live today. And then, of course, when yours comes out, I would be honored to place it on my website.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I really, thank you for the comment of having an excellent podcast. I have some plans to do some more stuff with it that I'm going to be announcing soon, to really give my guests more visibility, out there. I absolutely love doing my radio show. I love speaking to people like you and learning, and it really helps me to connect, and of course it's intellectual stimulation for me. So it's really, really awesome. And I've been getting some great reviews on my show. And I'm actually booked up to September, believe it or not. It's hard.
I believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe it. Well, you know why? I think I think you're a very thoughtful person. So I think you ask thoughtful questions, but then you respond in a thoughtful manner. I think that's so important, right? It's just not about doing the show or okay, let's do some rapid fire questions. I really enjoy the way you listen intently and then you respond with some very thoughtful answers. I think that's why people like the show. You're a thoughtful person.
Oh, thank you so much. I really needed to hear that, Rocky. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I hope when I bring out, all the other things that I'm planning that, persons will be on board. I think there would be. Some people are saying, just let me know so that I can jump on, So,
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making those announcements to you guys probably in about the next week or two, in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that. Yeah. But this has been great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this has been great. I mean, your book is awesome. You're awesome. I mean, it's you're out there trying to give people a different angle. And let me ask you this final question before we go. This is related more to business, or can persons use your book and the principles in it for their life? Because life lessons is the most important to me, and you don't want to just use something just for within our work or an academic purpose. It's really to improve you, to be a better version of you, to apply those principles. Can your book be able to, how shall I say, move into that realm, or does it already offer that?
Yes, it does. And I think as I wrote the book, I wanted to make sure that the book was an important book about being a good person. It starts with simple acts of kindness, and you'll see that. And as you go through the book, you always see that leadership is about being a good person. I think there's three questions that everybody has to ask themselves as an individual. One is, who am I? What
Mm,
do I stand for? And what are the
right.
things I won't compromise? And the things you
Mm,
won't compromise are, I'm going to be a good person. I am going to treat everyone with dignity and respect, even if I disagree with them.
right.
I can disagree without being disagreeable. And I think that if you're a good person, you
Mm,
start with the fact that the things you do stems from an honest heart, then I think you'll be a good leader. And as I said before, as you and I talked about, we're all leaders. So therefore, the extension of that is that we're all good leaders, that we all play a role at some point or another. We all have the opportunity to touch someone and make their lives a little bit better. And because of that, that leadership is so important. And I think the book helps you to have those moments where you say, okay, in that situation with my family, or that situation with my neighbors, or that situation, on the soccer field, I could have done that a little bit differently, or I could have
mm,
looked at it differently. And so the book really does help you establish what are those guiding principles. And it starts with being a good person. It starts with simple acts of kindness. And
yeah.
I think there's some good examples. There's some examples in there, and there's a story in every chapter. And so
Yes.
I always tell people, when you read the book, please send me your favorite story, because I always get some really great answers. And I enjoy people who tell me, I love that story in this chapter. So I think that always makes me very, very happy that they enjoy the stories, because you know what, life is short. So let's have a little bit of fun. Look, we can have fun as long as we're doing the right things, and we shouldn't have fun at someone else's expense. But there's no reason for us to smile. There's no reason for us to, at the end of the day, say, look, it was a tough day, but you know what? We all smiled at least once today. Oh, did I lose you, Corinne? Corinne.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I
So
just forgot I was
okay.
muted. I think if we
Yeah, that's all right.
I think if we all come from a place of, and following up on your point, if we all come from a place of, we we are all here and we're not an island by ourselves. And if every day we walk out in interacting with another human being, we think to ourselves, I I can I am here existing, walking around, and I want to be able to do something to impact another person's life. It may not be
I think that.
that you purposely go out saying, I'm going to look for something to impact somebody's life, but you realize your role for existing, that you're alive, walking around, eating, breathing, sleeping, whatever. You're not going out there with that intention to say, I'm going to go and do a good deed today. But because you are
Right.
existing in the world, you come from a place of love. You come from a place of, like you say, kindness. People think Mother Teresa and people like that, Nelson Mandela and all these people that we mentioned, were born that way. They have special DNA, special genes, special blood run through their veins for them to be the person that they are. It is just coming from a place of love. And I think we all have it within us, but some of us don't. I don't know what we don't do. I just can't imagine what some people just don't do. It's a selfishness. And I want people to kind of reduce that selfishness and think, today I want to just walk around and smile. If I smile with people today, just smile or say good morning
Right.
to everybody I
Right.
see. I just want to do that and see what happens and see how I feel at the end of the day.
Well,
Make that
yeah.
effort. Just
I think
do that.
that's a great point. That's a great point. The other thing is think about how much energy you use to be argumentative, to
Yeah.
have this anger festering inside of you, and think about how much less energy and how great it feels just to smile and say, "Hey, thanks, good job today. Hey, appreciate all you do on behalf of our business," or "Hey, nice to see you." Hey, saying hi to somebody. Those are simple things. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be kind of an outgoing person. You're just
Yeah.
being a good person. And I think
Yeah.
that's
Nobody
so
said run
important.
across the road to say hi to the person across
Yeah.
and get
No,
yourself
I agree.
killed. I'm just
Yeah.
saying you're in a coffee shop, a simple thing. Like for me,
Yeah.
when I go into a fast food outlet, or should I ever go in there? But when I do, or even at a store, and I and I see somebody with their name tag. Let's say I see Rocky on somebody's name, I'll be like, "Hey Rocky, how is your day
Yeah.
going?" And he'll be
Right.
like, "Oh my God, she knows my name," not realizing that his name is on his chest. I'll be like,
That's right.
I'll be like, "Yay!" And just you look at a person upon entering, going up to purchase something or pay for some, whatever it is, and you'll be like, "Smile, smile. Life is worth living. Smile." And I'll be like, "What is there to
That's
smile
right.
about?" And you're like, "No, come on. It's worth smiling about." And you
That's
might see
right.
them give you a smile, and you might just change that person's attitude for the rest of the day. So I want people to just come from a place of kindness, of love, and realizing that they're a leader. And a leader
That's
is
right.
not just in the workplace. A leader is not on international circles.
Right, right. Oh, I
You
agree.
are a
Well,
leader.
you asked a question about the book from a human perspective, and one of the things I talk about in the book is this concept of don't let your highs get too high and your
Mhm.
lows get too low. And if you think about it, when people are really in a bad place, their lows are so low that they can't see anything good and anything going on around them. And
Wow.
that's or when their highs are so high, they're so excited about what's going on in their life that they almost are, they can tend to be rude. I mean, they're
Mhm.
celebrating so much the good things going on in their life that they're almost not realizing that they're probably putting off some people. And so in
Mhm.
the book, one of the things I always say in business, you never want to let your highs get too highs and your lows get too lows, but it's the same in life. Try to have when things are going well, be humble. And when
Mm.
things aren't going well, realize that, what there's, you know, you're going to come out of that valley. It's a cycle. And so, try not to, lose people along the way that you're so miserable, you're so unhappy, you're so down that you lose the people around you that want to help you. You don't even notice that people want to help you because you're so down. And so I think that's so important. So as I said, don't let your highs get too highs, your lows get too lows. That same principle that helps you in business can also help you in your personal life too. So
Humility. Humility. That's a word. That's a
yeah,
quality that, to me, that is the greatest quality ever. I don't know, but I just love being humble. I tell people I don't talk about myself. A lot of people don't know a lot of things about me in the sense of what I've done, accomplished, etc. And I don't go about wearing it on my chest or telling people about it. I don't think I need to. I
right.
just want people to know me as Corinne. And that's it. And if they
That's right.
find out, yeah, if they find out along the way, they'll be like, wow, I didn't know you do that. I'll be like, yeah, and then pass it off, because I'm not into the hype and attention. I just like being simple and everybody just seeing me for me. Not, I don't want people to treat me differently because of what they may know of me. And I don't want that. I want to be able to fit in into any circle, anywhere, anytime, and not be treated differently because you think, oh, she's a so and so, and she's, oh no, I can't talk to her like this. No, I want people to be able to approach me, anybody, anytime, anywhere, to be able to approach me and not look at me in a particular box and say, because you know me as this or you heard of me as this, then you're going to be treating me differently. No, 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 no. I want to be treated as Corinne. The person that you see, I want to be treated as that. And I think humility is such a great quality. It is, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just think it's such a great quality to have, and it's a great starting point for you to grow.
hmm I agree. I agree. I mean, if you're going to think about, dressing for success, one of the best articles of clothing you could wear is humility. It's that fiber of who you are as a person. It says so much about you as an individual, and people tend to want to follow humble leaders.
Yeah,
They want to follow people who do not make it about them and make
yeah,
it about the group. And so I think you're absolutely right.
yeah. Oh my goodness, Rocky Romanella, tighten the lug nuts. Lucky it's not you in that little vehicle on your book cover. So yes, tighten the lug nuts. I'm going to encourage everyone to get a copy of the book because it's not only for business or academics, it's for life.
Well,
And
thank you.
instead of going for a life coach, I'm sure you can get a lot of principal stories. And of course, reach out to Rocky personally. You saw his website, 360managementservices.com, and check him out. He looks like Tom Selleck. Even if you don't do anything else, just reach out to him because you think he looks like Tom Selleck. Yeah. Thank you so
Either
much.
Tom Selleck or one of those Super Mario brothers. One
Super
of those two.
Mario. Either way, cuteness running in the veins. Cuteness and handsomeness running in the veins. We don't care.
Well,
Who didn't play Super Mario? Come on. Who didn't play Super Mario?
yeah,
Come on. Either
that's
way,
true. That's true.
either way. Handsomeness and cuteness and fun runs in the veins. Thank you so much, Rocky, for being on Between the Lines. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure as well. And have a great rest of your day.